So guys, I'm off on the Moto Guzzi 1100 injection to take it for its vehicle test. It's called an ITV here in Spain, and I've owned this vehicle for about, I would say, 15-16 months, and with vehicles in Spain, motorbikes, the vehicle test is every 2 years, and it's actually due in about a week's time for its test. So I've had a quick look over it, and all seems to be okay. So we'll just see what the outcome is when we get to the test station. So not made a video for a while, guys. I've been doing other things and following other YouTubers, watching their journeys rather enviously while I've been working, planning a long road trip that we're going to do next. And I think the long road trip we're going to do next is going to have to be next year now, looking at the logistics of it. So maybe May next year we're looking at going to Lake Como, which is the route we want to take from our location in Spain to Lake Como. Is about 2,000 kilometers and then 2,000 back, so 4,000 kilometer round trip, and we're looking to do that in about 15 days, I would think, with stopping over at various places, Chamonix and different places in France after we get out of Spain, then getting down to Lake Como, spending a bit of time in Lake Como looking around, and taking another scenic route back along the coast, as opposed to cutting inland through Chamonix and round again. So trip we're looking forward to. We're debating whether to actually do it on this old Guzzi. I'm sure she would be capable of doing it, but whether it'd be as nice doing it on this as the Vosges 900 DSX with the luggage and all the bells and whistles, I'm not overly sure. So we'll have to iron that one out, but that's the next long trip planned. So one of my favourite roads to ride along, this particular road. Not the safest, there's a lot of switchbacks and a lot of sand on the road. You've got a wide section rear tyre like on the Guzzi that I've got at the moment, and it's a Pirelli tyre, so it's very road biased. There's not much grip on it in sand or mud, etc. On good tarmac or wet tarmac, it's very, very grippy. They're good tyres, these Pirelli Sports, but on anything else they're a bit dodgy, so it's a case of looking out for the bends and watching out where the sand is or the slippage off the edge of the mountain there. Stunning ride to get out on, and it's about probably, I don't know, 20-25 clicks from our house to the test station, and the test station is very different from the MOT that you have in the UK, where you actually leave the bike or the vehicle with a mechanic and they run it through the test and then you pick it up later. You actually stay with the vehicle yourself here and actually run it through the line, as it were, over various parts of the test. So headlamps, brakes, indicators, and if it was a car or a van or a wagon, you finally take it over a pit and they test all the universal joints and the constant velocity joints and the wheel bearings, etc. On a motorbike, that section is negated. You just have a mechanic look over the bike and check the tyres conform to what's written in the logbook, etc. Pretty strict on changing tyres here. Once it's registered with a certain tyre size, you're pretty much stuck to sticking with that, so you're pretty limited on what you can put on your bike. And in the case of tyres that are in inches, you have to have a regulated tyre that's in inches that has a like for like in centimetres, so they can equate it and put it through on the test. Any alteration you make on your bike here or your car has to go through a registered technician to be approved and modulated for the vehicle. So it's quite convoluted. Customization in Spain is very, very difficult. You can get it done, but again, each stage you have to pay for an engineer's report and an engineer's check to get it checked over. So yeah, stunning afternoon on a Friday. It's currently about 24 degrees. Nice clear blue skies, perfect riding weather. Not too hot, not too cold. And clear blue skies, like I say, getting a bit cooler at night time. But still no need for any form of heating yet this time of year. And usually up to Christmas it's pretty good, pretty mild in southern Spain. So one thing that's very, very different for me, guys, is riding solo. 90% of my riding is usually done with my wife, unless I'm on the off-road bike, or maybe my super meteor, but certainly if we're going out on the California or the Vosges 900, it's nearly always pillion and we're on a journey or we're going out together. So it's very, very different for me to jump on the California and have a ride on my own. Very, very capable bike. It's surprisingly agile on the bends. Plenty of torque, plenty of low down torque. It turns in really, really well. The link braking is very, very responsive if you're riding solo. Of course, you've got a lot less weight when you're riding solo, so it pulls up a lot easier than if there was two of you. This particular road, although it's one of my favourite roads, it's the condition or the surface is shocking, to be honest. There's not much of it that's very smooth and not undulated. Although it is pretty stunning, the scenery is fantastic around here. So you guys may have recalled I put a post on maybe a week or so ago about possibly changing the Vosges at some time. When that will be, I don't know, because we're currently enjoying it and currently enjoying touring on it when we get out of it. But the idea was to change it for a different bike, one that was more manageable as I got older, more easy to move around, etc. And one of the crazy bikes that I actually looked at that I didn't think it would be in the running just due to its weight and the size of the bike was the Goldwing. And I'm not talking about the older Goldwings, I'm talking about the new Goldwings, the ones with a similar system. It's not a telelever, but it's got a similar system on the front forks for the suspension. Now the crazy thing about the Goldwing, although it's something like 360 kilos, a lump of a bike, is that when you look on the forums or you look on videos of people riding Goldwings, you've got guys around the world in the late 70s and early 80s still doing big mileages on Goldwings. And I think part and parcel of that is it's very low centre of gravity with that Boxer flat six engine, and also the fact that even the older Goldwings have a reverse gear, so any manoeuvring that you've got in and out of your garage or turning it around, etc., you pretty much don't have to get off the bike. You can flat foot it quite easily and you can reverse it and you can take it forward. Now there's been a plethora of videos on the new Goldwing, especially the bagger, which is would be my preferred choice, with some of the formal luggage than having that huge big seat on the back and the big luggage of the standard Goldwing. So not the touring version but the bagger version. And if you any of you guys watch username Cater videos, she recently road tested the bagger, and she's 5'4" and she's very slight, and she was blown away how that bike actually rode, and the actual extras it has on the bike, the cruise control, all the bells and whistles, and it's one of them bikes I can see me riding for a long time into the future. So food for thought. I don't know what you guys think. Initial thoughts, people think you're bonkers when you talk about getting a Goldwing, but take a look at a few videos, guys, and let me know what you think. So coming into the town of Fieta, it's a very, very old Spanish town going across the Rio Segura River at the moment. And at this moment it would help if I was in the right gear. The only thing with an old bike is no gear indicator, and you're tending to do a mental check where you are all the time with the gears. So the ITV station, or the test station, is quite a big affair. There's about 6 or 7 lanes inside that take all types of vehicles on a line system that go from one end to the other. And I won't be able to film anything inside because the laws in Spain prohibit any filming in any public place, or you can't film police or guardia, for instance. If you were to do that and post on social media, you'd be liable to quite a hefty fine, to be honest. So there is protection for not just police, everybody in general, so that their privacy is protected. So I'm mindful when I post anything on social media that I'm not contravening the local laws. So we're literally about 10 minutes away from the test centre, and I'll film going in and parking up, but that's about as much as I can film in there. So we'll see if it actually goes through and passes its revision. One crazy thing about the Moto Guzzi California, it looks quite a low bike. It looks like a cruiser style bike, but the seat height is crazy. It's not a low bike at all by any means. I'm 5'10", inside seam of just under 31, I would say, and I can only just get my feet partially flat-footed. It's quite a high bike. Luckily that low centre of gravity means you can slow manoeuvre the bike very, very easily. No, I'm actually at the traffic lights now, and I think the reason I've not really noticed the height on the bike so much before is, like I said previously in this video, I'm always pillion with a wife, but I can flat foot it one side, tiptoe the other side, so I would say the seat height has got to be at least 840, 850. Must do a check on. So here we are, guys. This is the test centre, and we've got to go in and book the bike in. There's the bike, and pay and get a ticket and a line to go through, and we'll see how she does. So guys, this is the system from the outside. There's actually 3 bays on this one. Like I say, when I get inside I can't do any filming, but basically you get into the first section, they do an emissions test. You roll on a bit further and they do a light test, rear brake and indicators, headlamp and rear light, etc. And then a bit further on there's a rolling road test. Now the rolling road test is quite strange in as much as you have to use the rear brake to stop the bike getting thrown off when you press the front brake on. Now the biggest problem I've got on this bike, and I've not taken this bike through this test centre before, is the fact that the brakes are linked, so pressing the rear brake will obviously have an effect on the front brake and vice versa. It'll be interesting to see how it works. It should work in theory, but you put in some of the power to the rear brake whatever you do. So yeah, it should be an interesting one. So hopefully we shouldn't be too long. We've not got an appointment, but there seems to be a few guys working and they seem to be going through quite quickly, so fingers crossed we get through and the bike passes its test. So guys, we've come out of the test station, bit of thorough going over. I think the thing with the older bikes, especially here in Spain, they're really itching to try and find something wrong with it to show it's not roadworthy. So He went over it with a fine-tooth comb. I've not seen him be that thorough on bikes in general before. The emission test, they tested it on 2 stations, went back, forwards, sideways, and went around the sticks with it really. But got to the end of the line and he was looking at the tyres, he was measuring the depth on the tyres, which is crazy considering the 2 new Pirelli sport tyres on this bike. The front one's only been on about 3 months, I would think. Probably only got about 400 kilometres on it. Anyway, went over it with a fine-tooth comb, got it outside, disappeared into the office, and I thought they're going to try and fail it on something. Anyway, came out with a piece of paper, said the bike's absolutely perfect, and a 2-year sticker, so next test is 2 years time. Bearing in mind this is a 30-year-old bike, so not too shabby, so just shows how a well-maintained bike can go through the years and still be totally roadworthy and have the tag of being perfect, I suppose. So, sun's getting low in the sky. Excuse me, guys. Sun's getting low in the sky, and I'm going to head up across the mountain range back to our place and get the bike put away and chill out. Saves me the job in the morning. I was going to take it Saturday morning to get it tested, but the job's out of the way now. The job's done and dusted. All that remains, if we do the 4,000 kilometre trip in May next year, is a full service before we go, and that's dropping the oil. I may change the final drive again on it and the gearbox oil, although the book states changing them only every other service, so we'll see. And she'll be good to go for a good few many more kilometres, I would think. So guys, bit of an impromptu video again. Like I said, I've not got many videos out lately. To be honest, I can't really think of anything to do any worthwhile video on. And even this video just happens that I've got my open face helmet on with a pair of Meta sunglasses, and I just happened to be able to record everything I was doing as I went on my journey. So anyway guys, I hope you find it interesting, the procedure in Spain to get your bike through the periodic